Facebook.
Hi. Oh, you're not on there. Hi.
I'm not on that one. I'll scoot
I
over
gotta,
to it.
hang on, gotta get this filter going.
We love our pop filter.
Makes us look
'Cause
so
we
good.
pop.
Pop it. Pop
Pop,
a
pop,
lot.
pop. I'm pulling up my...
I don't do that.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a dance.
It is?
Kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, like you have to have rhythm and coordination.
Oh, I have neither one of those.
I don't have that. So,
No, and if my
am I live
if my
here?
husband
No.
Joel pops on here, he can tell you that I have no rhythm.
Well, Amy Long told me I have no rhythm. Hi. Oh,
Hi.
hang on. We're live on Facebook. Yes,
Thanks.
right Wednesday. Hi, business page. Hi, Facebook. Hi, TJ people.
Hi, I'm
Oh,
trying to
we're
watch
solved
it here.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, you're watching it there. All right,
So we
what's
are
going
live again.
on?
Wayne's under the weather, even
got
though
Flat
Wayne
Wayne.
was still in the office today working, but he was feeling a little under the weather, so he went home. But we have Flat Wayne.
Flat Wayne in the house.
Say hi to Flat Wayne, everybody.
Holla.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
So
So
But-
we also have now. I posted on Snapchat and look at
yeah.
Posted on Snapchat and did a little live, in my story on Facebook that we were going to discuss a topic today, and we're not.
We're not.
Switching it up on you.
We are, because Wayne was doing a lot of visual aid work for us on that topic.
Yeah. So maybe next week.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
But I think we have an equally fun topic.
Duh, because it's you and me.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Woohoo! Oh, wait, cheers.
Let's do that.
We're a little late.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times people ask me this, and I don't know if they ask you, how did you get into real estate and what do you like about it? Do you get asked that?
I don't know that that's a question to ask me today. Just kidding. We all have those days. I'm not liking my hair today on this. Like, I feel maybe this wasn't a good hairstyle. Anyway, yours looks good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have to go get a haircut.
Usually, and then I'll watch this later and I'll be like, oh, that's what your hair looks like from the side. That's not good. Anyway, so all kidding aside, I love my job.
Absolutely. But, I mean, every job has its frustrations, but all
Yes.
that aside, on balance, all things considered,
I love my job.
Yeah.
Do you love your job?
absolutely. I can tell you I've had a lot of different jobs in my life,
Yeah.
from construction to paperboy to pizza delivery to
Yes.
teaching, and this is probably my favorite.
Yes, absolutely it is.
So, how did you end up here?
So, it's interesting. Well, it's not really probably very interesting. But what happened, I remember graduating from college and going home and, I was working in a bridal salon at the time. And
Oh,
the
God.
bridal salon was across the street. Yeah, because that's my other fantasy job. I got to be honest. Like, say yes to the dress and all that. I want to do that. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic for Wine Wednesday. Maybe later. After a couple glasses of wine. I'll tell you all about it.
Sometimes shopping for a
Yeah,
house is
so-
like say yes to the dress.
Yes, it can be. So there was a Century 21 brokerage across the street, and they had a sign up in the window saying we're hiring, or come get your license, whatever it was. And I thought I would love to do that. I would love to do that, but I didn't. And then life happens, and I'm doing the typical desk job. Worked in a cube forever at a desk, typing data stuff. And so anyway, fast forward, 5 years later. I'm just kidding.
The age of
We've
23.
been in Ohio 15 years. It's a considerable longer amount of time. But at the age of 23, last year. Anyway, so I was working at a company on the east side, and I was a marketing administrator at that company. And, it was not doing well, and there were layoffs happening, and I knew it was a matter of time before I was going to be laid off. And so a lateral move was just not seemingly going to happen. I didn't necessarily want it, and I didn't, it's just sitting in a cube, and it kills you. It kills you. So I had a friend that was doing real estate. That's a friend of the family, and my husband was on board at this point. My kids were older, and I felt like it was a good time to make the move. So I took my classes, got my license, and have been here ever since.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's been. I'm in my 5th year. I had the 4-year anniversary, so I'm halfway to the 5-year anniversary. But it's been good. Full time. I mean, it wasn't full time to start. It was a good 6 months of having my license and doing my part-time job in marketing, and then real estate part-time, and then one day I got called into the big man's office. Yeah. It was okay. It was okay. Gotta be honest.
Right.
Yeah, and then, you get thrown in full-time, so it was good.
Awesome.
How about you?
So, I always like talking to people about things. Like, I'm a huge talker, and when we bought our house, a friend of ours actually recommended her sister-in-law.
Okay.
And she took us through to see a lot of houses and the negotiating process and things like that. And I was familiar with real estate, the real estate market, through my government work, working in the treasurer's office, dealing with people who were delinquent in their taxes. But I really fell in love with the whole home buying process at that point. And I really liked, honestly, looking at people's houses. It's always a unique experience.
Which is funny that's not really a big part of this job.
It's not. But when you do get to it, it's fun.
Yeah.
And I really wanted my license, but financially it wasn't a good time because it does take so long to build up your book of business.
Right, yeah.
And then fast forward several years, 6 years later almost, I had the opportunity to take my classes with my work schedule, and I got my license and started selling real estate part-time. So I did that, got it right after my birthday in March of 2015, so that I didn't have to pay the extra $110 immediately to renew my license. Fun fact, you have to renew your license on your first birthday after you get it. So I could have gotten my license 2 weeks earlier, or if I waited 2 weeks, I saved myself a few bucks. So we did that.
You're a thinker.
Started with a large national franchise brokerage.
Yes.
And had a good time there. Got to meet some of the folks there, but I really wanted a more intimate atmosphere and a smaller atmosphere. And I knew Wayne. And when he opened up this brokerage, I knew that it was the right fit, and we talked about it, and I moved my license over here. And I've actually been full-time as my only job since January of this year, and I'm into my 3rd year. And I can tell you I love it.
Yeah. It's a hard leap to make that full-time, because let's be honest, this job is 100% commission.
It is. It is
so
100%.
If you're collecting a paycheck, there's a comfort level there that you don't have now. So,
but you also trade that off with, I think, the flexibility that this job provides.
Oh, yeah.
I described it to somebody, my favorite book when I was a kid was Green Eggs and Ham. So this is sort of like the Green Eggs and Ham job. I can do it in a house, I can do it with a mouse, I can do it here or there, and I can sell a house anywhere.
It's true.
Like, I have been on vacation, laying on the beach, and writing a contract.
Yes.
I can't show you a home, but I have other wonderful agents who I work with who can if I'm on vacation.
We help each other.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
It's a good fit at this brokerage.
Yeah, and I think that that's one thing that's different than a lot of other brokerages. And a lot of other brokerages, it's like, and one I was in before, if you asked another agent to do something, there was a list of fees that you had to pay. And here, we just work together and support each other. I mean, we have our own private Facebook group, so if we need someone like, hey, can someone do this for me at the last minute because I'm with a client or whatever, and we all jump in to help each other.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're not pitted against each other.
Right.
Which is the other thing that you can find in some other places.
Yes.
And that's fine, that's their business model, but that's just not the business model.
And a lot of people thrive with that. The competitiveness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, if there are any other agents on or former agents, send us comments, tell us your thoughts. Why did you get into real estate?
Yes. It's a good topic. It's an interesting topic. I think everyone has their story. Now, for me, I love. I kind of always feel like I was born into doing sales, and I don't know that this is necessarily a sales job. I mean, we're helping people and facilitating a sale, but we're not, I can't make you buy a house, and I can't make you sell a house.
And I can't make someone buy your house.
Exactly.
Or sell their house to you.
Yeah, I mean, we put the tools in place for that stuff to happen, but we can't, strong arm someone into signing stuff.
Right.
Making these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas some sales, I think, is, it's different. But the thing that I love the most about what we do is, for me, my personal opinion, I love first-time home buyers, and I love the education portion of what we do. And there is nothing, I mean, it is addicting to get to the closing table and have everyone happy and everyone excited.
Yep.
And I thrive on that. And it just really, it's just a pleasure. Mm-hmm. And I also love working with people. So, and for goodness sake, I mean, run the gambit. I mean, I have worked with so many different personalities and so many different people. Mm-hmm. But it's what I love. And I don't know. Like so if someone was going to ask you, because we get this, I mean, I do all the time. I have friends who, I've been thinking about getting into real estate.
Yeah.
What do you tell them?
I tell them that I absolutely love the job, but I think that if you're going to get into real estate, you need to be ready for the reality of what real estate is.
Yes.
There is no regular paycheck. Just because you're in contract doesn't mean that it's going to close. Mm-hmm. So you can never count on that check until literally the moment that everyone is signed.
And you walk out the door.
Yeah, and you walk out the door. Because deals can fall through for any reason at any time.
Yeah.
And that's not because the buyer, the seller, their agents, the lender, or the title company, it's not because anyone did anything wrong. It just means that it didn't work out. Mm-hmm.
The biggest lesson to learn in this job is that we have no control. Right. That's a hard lesson to learn when you're a control freak. Are you a control freak?
I am.
I am certainly a control freak.
But the other part of it is, for me, I describe real estate like a puzzle. Mm-hmm. It's about finding the right pieces to fit together and getting the right home for the right buyer at the right time in the right set of circumstances. I tell my clients all the time, I say, when you're buying a house especially, one thing that I learned when I was shopping around for a house is if the deal doesn't work out, there was something about it that wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I always tell everyone, and I always preface this by saying I don't mean it to sound flip, but if it's meant to be, it will be.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, that's exactly what.
Yeah.
I mean, in any purchase or sale.
Mm-hmm. Now, the other part that I really enjoy about this job, that I think is a lot of fun, is I love the detective work.
Yeah, you are a big puller of information.
I am.
You really dig down into, and here, okay. So
and I don't always have the time to do that because sometimes the market's moving, the house sales moving too quickly.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I go and I dig through the public records. So, I'll look up mortgage information on a house, court information, arrest records, speeding tickets. By the way, if you've gotten a ticket in the city of Columbus,
fun fact for you.
Fun fact, I can find your birth date. I know exactly how old you are. Because it tells you something.
And not in a crazy style way.
No, I mean, but it tells you something about the mindset of the seller, especially if you're working with a buyer, or the mindset of the buyer. I always look to see if someone's bought or sold multiple properties because that tells you how experienced they are. And usually someone who's bought and sold more properties is more emotionally detached from the situation. I actually teach a class over at the Board of Realtors, which we have coming up next month.
Agents, listen.
Listen, public records in real estate. It's
We'll
a great class. It's 3 hours of CE, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So go to the Board of Realtors website and sign up.
What kind of fun are we going to have, TJ?
We're going to have a lot of fun.
How much fun are we going to have?
Oodles and oodles
of fun.
Guaranteed fun.
I have my hair sticking out. That's kind of weird. I'm sorry.
But that's the part that I like because it helps educate my buyers on going into the situation. I think one of the biggest examples that I use, and I'll leave it at this one, is a house that's being sold as part of an estate. if I can go onto the probate court's website and get an idea as to whether or not it's an attorney who's the executor or a disinterested party versus a family member, we know that there's more or less emotion there. And in a highly charged emotional situation like the death of a parent or a family member or a sibling, there's going to be more emotion tied to the deal. If it's a lawyer or some totally disinterested party, they just want to get a deal done and get it over with.
Right.
So you do have those levels to deal with, and you just know that that's the sort of personality you're going with.
Right. Right. Yeah. There's a lot. You know, what I find interesting too, and any agents, if you want to comment at this point, you know, there are a lot of agents. There's a lot of us in the business, and you know, I always say we're kind of a dime a dozen, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a slew, and when the market is good, more and more people get their license. So how people approach the business, their business, because this is TJ's business, this is my business. I am an independent business owner.
Yes.
We work for a broker, Flat Wayne.
Flat Wayne holds our licenses.
Yes, but you know, ultimately my business is run as I see fit,
within state law,
legal and ethics, because I'm a stickler with that stuff.
Yes.
But you know, everyone does it differently, and while you pull a lot of records and look at things that way, I think I more am on the emotional side of it. You know, like, do you love it? Do you not? You know, like, how are you feeling about this kind of thing? What are your thoughts? But then I've you know, with the seller's market we're having, you tend to do showings a lot with a lot of other agents. So I listen to how people are.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes people are very into, like, the HGTV thing. Like, look at the upgraded cabinets and the granite countertops. And I don't do that. Like, I let the people love the house or not love the house. I don't tend to point out as much.
Yeah, I mean, if there is a feature that they've told me that they really want and I see it, or something that they absolutely don't want
then
and I
you
see
point
it,
it out
then
and say,
but yeah,
yeah.
pretty much you're going through this house and I'm kind of walking through the process with you.
Right.
Because the other thing that I like to try to teach buyers is that just because you think it's on your want list or need list,
it may not be.
It may not be, and you may be willing to compromise when you get to that point, right? Because I've seen clients do it all the time.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I have to have a 2-acre backyard.
Yeah.
And the house that they absolutely fall in love with, it's a postage stamp.
Yeah. Or, and I'm not going to name names, they think they want acreage, and then you get out there and you think, I can't Uber out here. You know who I'm talking about?
Are they watching?
No, I don't think so. But they may watch later. But it's true, because I'm the same way. I have always, you know, I have things that I think I want or need, and then I, you know, like open concept. That is a huge thing right now. The house I live in is not open concept, and I have since learned that I like rooms. I'm a room person.
Right.
I like to have somewhere to go that's separate from everyone else. I don't want to have everybody all in the same place, all at the same time, you know.
You want to be able to not have to throw the dishes in the dishwasher.
And I don't want to hear people chewing or swallowing or breathing. Just stop it.
Wait. So I have a comment here. What about sellers who think they can guess what sellers want, so they do countertops, etc.?
What about sellers?
So,
things that
so
buyers want?
yeah. So I think that what I always recommend to my seller clients or people who are thinking about selling is look at the other houses that are in your area and what's flying off the market. You know, if there's a certain style that's prevalent in your neighborhood, that those houses seem to be going quickly, whether it's that they have open concepts or that there's a fenced-in yard or something like that, versus houses that maybe don't have fenced-in yards or sitting on the market a lot longer, then maybe that's something you want to consider. But I do know that our next topic is do this, not that.
Yes. So we can discuss that more. But what I
So
would say...
Logan, watch next time too.
Logan, I mean, honestly, go on Pinterest and see what's in style. And you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to make yours. And it's not really so much about guessing what's in style, because styles change all the time.
Right.
If you're preparing a house for market, it's one thing. But if you're styling a home that you want to live in, I always tell people, if it's not a consideration to sell in the next few years, design it for what you like.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're the one living there.
Absolutely.
So you know, and your taste may be different than someone else, but you can always prepare it at that point when you're ready to sell.
Yeah, I went on a listing presentation last week, and the client told me, she said, I absolutely do not want anything that looks contemporary.
No.
And everyone else would tell you, oh, your house has to look contemporary, it
Yeah.
has to look modern, you need to use the grays and the whites and the blues and the these muted colors. That was not her style whatsoever. So when she looks for a house, her perfect house is going to have more of a mid-century feel. And people like that.
Yeah, so
and you're going to find the right buyer.
someone will buy your home. I mean, someone's going to buy it.
But if you're going to live in your house for a while, make it what you
Make it
want,
what you
but
want.
don't over-improve for the neighborhood.
No, don't ever over-improve, which can be done easily.
It can be. You do not want to have the biggest house in your neighborhood, because you will have trouble selling it and getting it to appraise. So don't add, another 1,000, 1,500 square feet to your house. Unless
you're going to stay there and it's absolutely something you need.
Right. If it's something that you need and you want and you're going to get many years of life and love out of it, then absolutely do that. What was the one thing that surprised you the most once you got in this business? So you had all these ideas about what real estate was, or was not, and then there was something that just surprised you once you started doing it.
I would say the job itself surprised me, because when you're going through classes, and this is one of the things that I tell everyone as well. When I have friends that say, I've always thought about going into real estate, tell me about it. Is it so fun looking at people's homes? Is it so fun doing this? Is not this job. And, yeah, we're going to see homes, but we're taking someone to see them. We're not going to see them.
Right.
And a lot of it is trying to, what does Wayne always say? We're part psychologist, part psychiatrist, part
friend, part counselor,
part, teacher, there's a lot of hats that we wear. And, it's hard to sometimes figure out where you need to be with that and who you're working with and what are triggers and what aren't. And it's, I think that's what's most surprising. Because like I was going to say, when you're taking the classes, they're not teaching you what the job is. They're teaching you to pass your test so you get your license.
Right.
And then you go and you do the job and you're like, wait a minute. I didn't know that, you have to be very well versed.
You mean every
in the
deal isn't
contract.
exactly the same?
Right. Okay. So here is a fun fact for you. I usually do about 30 transactions a year. 25, 30, sometimes over 30. It all depends. Not one transaction. Every single transaction over the last 4.5 years, I learned something every single time. And I don't know that I would ever call myself an expert in real estate or an expert in anything, because you're not.
No.
I don't know.
No.
It blows my mind that something that seems like it should be the same thing over and over again, there's always something new. Always.
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have to be willing to learn that and learn from it,
You gotta go with the flow.
be open to criticism, and from both your clients and your
Right.
broker or other agents in the office, and be willing to ask for help. The other thing that surprised
There is
me,
nothing wrong with saying you don't know something,
Right.
or you'll find out that information for someone.
don't make it up.
Yeah, or don't pretend like you know if you don't. Because this is what I'm saying. I do a lot of business, and there is always something I am learning, or there's a question asked that I have not been asked before, and I just don't know the answer.
I had a client ask me and this was a recent client, and it was something I never thought of. He said, do you think that I should offer to leave or sell the rugs on my hardwood floors so that when the new person buys the house, the discoloration from years of the sun beating down on one part versus the other doesn't show? And I've never had anyone bring that up on the buy side or the sell side.
That's an interesting question too. How would you advise? I mean, what did you end up?
So I said, it's up to you. It's something that we can have a conversation about,
Yeah.
and that you can mention to someone. Now, if you sell personal property in a real estate transaction, it has to be done outside of the transaction.
Chattel.
Yes,
amendment.
there needs to be a chattel agreement.
Agreement?
Something like that. But it's not
I know
part
it's called chattel.
It's not part of the real estate contract.
Yeah.
Because then it has to appraise. and
Lenders
it's-
don't like that.
No, but
They want it separate.
But that was an interesting question, and one that honestly no one had ever asked me, and I think that was well thought out.
Did you get asked another question?
No, I was looking because I thought I did, but that was the same question as before. Someone joined.
Hi.
The one thing that surprised me is the statistic that half of all agents drop out in their first year.
Oh no, 1 in 10.
1 in 10, that's right.
Stay.
1 in 10 stay.
10 actually make it through their first year in
Yeah.
real estate. And I get it because it is a tough job. And it is, I mean, and I think in part because people don't have a real expectation of what the job is. And like I said, in the classes, they're not teaching you the job. You
No.
have to get great training afterwards. You have to find a good broker that's going to provide you. Brokerage is a huge fit.
Yeah.
And you have to, I mean.
And whether you're a buyer's agent, a seller's agent, a dual agent, whether you're part of a team, whether your office is localized only to one area versus being wider, you have to find that right fit. It can make all the
difference. And I think that's the biggest part of it is that, there are a lot of big name brokerages and everyone, I mean, I don't know, like for me going into the business, I was going onto a team and it was a no-brainer. I mean, that's where I was going to go. But ultimately, after a few years, the corporate type brokerage, huge, big, wasn't that great of a fit for me. I needed something.
And that doesn't mean it's not a good brokerage or a good real estate setup. It just means it's not right for you.
That's not at all what I'm saying, because it is a great company and people thrive and do very, very well there. And I did well there, but my needs several years down the road for growing my business and doing what I wanted to do in my business, I needed a different fit. And like you said, I mean, I've known Wayne forever. And for me, when it was thought about making a switch to a brokerage, it was also a no-brainer for me. I mean,
I think you came on right after I did, didn't you?
In March. So was it in December that it opened, and then I came in March, which was after you.
Yeah, I came in like right at the beginning of December.
Yeah. There are a lot of different feels to brokerages too, and I don't know that that's something necessarily that people will feel. That's more of an agent thing. And again, any agents out there that are watching, I would love to hear your thoughts on it too, and where you're at and how you found it. But 43 homes is the term we always like to use is boutique brokerage. It's small. It's we've got a really good team going right now. A great team. There's great marketing, great tech skills, great
knowledge base.
Experience. I mean, everyone's got a different personality and a different way they're running their business, and it's just I really enjoy coming into the office and having, I always say the synergistic conversations where we're bouncing ideas off each other. I mean, that's where I thrive and grow, and I am able to do more with my business for my clients, because ultimately that is what the key is for me.
Absolutely.
How am I going to benefit my clients?
Yeah, and I think the other part about it is that some people have an unrealistic expectation on is that you really have to force that work-life balance,
right?
And it's going to be a different experience for your family.
Yeah.
Now, I'm fortunate that my husband and I both had jobs the entire time we've been together that at least one of us always had a job that wasn't 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So we understand and work well with each other on, there's a late night phone call or all of a sudden something comes up and I have to go do something. And I usually apologize profusely about it, and he just says, no, it's fine, just go, you have to do this, go. Yeah. But, and you've had to create that balance in your own family, right? Especially with kids.
Yeah, so for me, and this is why I waited so long to get into the business, was because I personally felt like when my kids were smaller, I didn't want to take away from them, and I've always worked part-time with them, and I'm one of those people that I have found I'm a better parent if I'm working. I need an outlet from, otherwise I'm one of those moms yelling at my kids in Target. You know, it just happens, and I don't want to be that, and I just need adult conversation and thought other than, you know, it's me, it's whatever, it is what it is. So I waited until I felt that they were not as needy, so that I could not miss out on the stuff that I wanted to not miss out on. Like, I don't, you know, evenings and weekends is what this job is. I mean, it's 24/7, so I don't want to take away. But now being in it, it's funny. I'm like, I could have done this all along. Like, it's not there. You easily balance.
Well, and I think in those situations, it's about being able to be honest and frank and have the conversation with your family. You know, and just be like, look, I love you, but right now I have to work. And sometimes realizing that, and this is, you don't get a lot of advice about how to be a real estate agent in the classes, more about just how to pass the test, like you said. But one of the instructors said, you know what, it's important that when there are certain family things, that those are what's on your schedule. And your clients need to realize that. So you say, you know what, I can't do that for you right now. I have something on my schedule, and it may be a Little League game or a play or, you know, some family event. But let's schedule that for down the road. And if it is an emergency, having an agent who you can reach out to handle that for you. But they say, you know, scheduling and work-life balance is really important.
It is. And it is personally. I mean, you need to have that balance. Otherwise, you won't be an effective person,
I mean,
business owner, real estate agent. I mean, you have to have balance.
I mean, I'm leaving on vacation next week for a few days, and a client that I'm working with said, well, what am I going to do while you're gone? And I said, I can handle almost everything you need where I'm at, because I'm available 100% of the time by phone, text, or email. And if for some reason something needs to be dealt with in person, I've got fabulous people like Jenny Reeds and Flat Lane who I can reach out to,
and some others in our office
here who I can reach out to who will do that. Yeah. And they were fine.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my phone is blowing up. And I hope it's not someone trying to ask a question or comment, because today's not grab bag. That was a couple weeks ago.
Right. I think that real estate is a rewarding career.
Absolutely, 100%.
And honestly, I feel so fortunate to have come to it at this point in time in my life.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
And I can't imagine myself doing anything else right now except, you know, even if I won the Powerball, I'd probably still sell real estate.
I have said that. And this is the other thing that I love about this career choice. When I was taking my classes, there were 18-year-olds in there, and there were also people 70 and 80 years old who are retired and looking for something to do. I will never not do this, ever. I mean, I absolutely love the people I have gotten to know. I love helping facilitate this purchase, which is the biggest investment oftentimes that people are making. I love the education. I love the conversations. I have loved everyone that I work with. You know, it's just amazing, and I'm very thankful for it.
You know, and I think that, you know, sometimes there are rough transactions and things like that happen. But the one thing that I always know is that once that transaction is over, it's over. Yeah. You know, there may be a bad business partner on the other side, or an agent who you're having issues with in the co-op, which is what we say when we're working together. And it's not like working in a corporate 9-to-5 where if there's a personality conflict, it's just going to fester forever. Yeah. One of the offices I worked in, there were two people who would not speak to each other. And it was because 20 years prior,
that's mature.
One of their kids snubbed the other kid at a soccer game. But those types of things fester in that type of environment. And it doesn't here.
It's toxic. No.
It doesn't.
No.
You know, and all of us realize as agents and our business partners that, you know, if it is a rough situation, It's just
It's
the
not
situation.
personal.
It's not personal.
And that is, too, is a big lesson to be learned too. It is not personal. My job is to get you to the closing table, no matter which side of the transaction you're on, and to help buffer some of those rough things.
Provided it's the right transaction for you.
Well, yeah.
We're not dragging you in.
I'm dragging you in, hook, line, and sinker. You're going.
What do they always ask when they're getting ready to notarize anything that no one's forced them to the table to do this?
So let me, anyone listening, when you get to that portion of the closing, don't be funny.
No, don't be funny.
Don't be funny and say, no,
Right.
I'm doing this forced or whatever.
Yeah.
How does the question go?
Has anyone forced you or coerced you into this transaction?
Don't say yes. Don't say yes because they'll shut it down.
Yeah,
They'll shut it
that's
down.
not the time to joke.
Yeah, no, it's not funny. And the reason I know this is because I was in a closing and the person managing and explaining and getting the signatures and notarizing everything said that someone was funny and answered the question wrong to be funny, and she shut it down and she said, I don't know you, I don't know, this is an honest question and it's a legal question and you have to answer honestly, and
Well,
if you did or not.
at that point, you're actually taking an oath for the notarized statement. I mean,
Yeah, so I always get very panicked. My heart starts beating a little harder, thinking, don't be funny, don't be funny, don't be funny. And I have not in my experience, knock on wood, had that happen yet.
it's
But
sort of like that point in the wedding. If
Yeah.
anyone has any good reason,
Yeah,
object now, and you're like,
Does anyone?
okay, we're good.
Yeah. So anyway,
But-
I don't know, is there anything,
Wayne, do you have any thoughts?
Wayne, why did you get into real estate? Real estating?
We'll just ask Wayne that question at the beginning of our next broadcast. when
He's
we're all
got to
done.
answer.
He does have to answer.
I could probably talk for hours and hours, but I just don't think anybody wants to listen to us anymore.
No, but I think if you have questions about getting into real estate, if you think that it might be a good career for you, talk with us, talk with other agents, talk with brokers.
Let's have that conversation.
Hashtag the more you know. Oops, yeah, that's 4 fingers. But and just like buying a house, it has to be the right career move for you at the right time.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to it that people aren't aware of.
And realize you're going to make a big capital outlay in the beginning, and it will take you a year to begin breaking even.
It is your own business, and there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of fees. There's a lot of expense and stuff that people just don't.
Keep good receipts and hire an accountant. Yes, for sure. So until next week. Until
next week, you guys all have a great week. I don't know. Are we running any raffles or fun things? It's the end of the month.
It is the end of the month.
We're gonna plan something for July.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
we're
huge.
gonna plan something for July.
Huge.
So watch us during the summer. It's really easy to watch these while you're laying by the pool.
On your patio.
Or watch them once we put them on our websites.
Anytime.
And still comment.
Yes, please do.
Because they still count.
Because you'll win stuff.
You will.
Just like that.
You will. But have a good week.
We'll see y'all.
We'll see y'all soon. Cheers. Cheers, Wayne.
Oh, Wayne. Bye.
Bye.
Have a